how well do you know your Bible? We are at a lucky time in our lives because in August they are going to be doing a Bible game show.
Oh, I could win so easy.
It's just such a wonderful idea. The best part is that apparently they're looking to have Jeff Foxworthy possibly host it.
Hey, Jeff Foxworthy.
And
the least funniest comedian on the planet. Good choice with that.
You know, perfect Bible Belt type of human being
True.
to fit the role.
Well, yeah, he already. Well, the key is that he already does family shows.
Right.
And they're intending this to be a family show.
Right. Well, they're going to use the Bible for that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They're going to talk about the stuff where, like, Lot gets drunk and has sex with his daughters and stuff like that.
You know, the killing of millions of people in Sodom and Gomorrah and so on and so forth. The dispelling of people at the Tower of Babel. It's gonna be fun. So I love that they are pretending it's a family show. But it's also looking for contestants who have a passion for the Bible and giving back to their community. So I feel like a lot of atheists should maybe take a shot at this. But the only unfortunate part is that the money is for the charities, like favorite charities. So there's no personal gain in it, which is actually kind of nice. But then the atheists maybe will have less reason. But my favorite thing would be
there's plenty of atheists
for an atheist to go on and do an atheist charity.
Sure.
You know, it's a secular charity. And then he also was, what was it? So it's looking for people with competitive spirits and great personal testimonies. So really, it's a stroking for Jesus show. But
I know lots of atheists who have fantastic testimony that they would love to give on a show like this.
How do you think you'd fare on this show?
Not very well. You know, I not as well versed as you two and some
I'm with you.
But I feel like compared to your average human being, you know, the average American out there, I'm sure I could stack up against that. It's one of those things where the more you discuss religion, the more you see how little people actually know of the Bible,
of the actual book,
and what they supposedly are being taught on a daily basis.
I actually think that you're kind of a good candidate for this.
I'd kill.
Yeah, I'd get destroyed.
I'd kill. No, well, and I'd have to study up a little bit because a lot of times I know, you know, I know a lot of the sort of obscure stuff that's in there. I don't necessarily have it like memorized chapter and verse though. So I think it depends if. And being that it's a game show, it's probably going to go down to a lower common denominator than this. Like, I doubt they're going to expect people to quote things chapter and verse, word for word. It's going to be more like, you need to know, did Jesus say this? Did Paul say this? Or, like, what is the Bible's stance on this? And, like, if that's really, like, what the format is, I would kill at the show.
Yeah. Now, do you know any of the quote-unquote positive things? Because that's probably what they're going to go here.
No, that's definitely all they're going to talk about.
Yeah, so you're going to have to make sure you brush up on all of the things they convey or believe are positive.
I know about a lot of the things that they claim are positive things. I think there's a lot of things in the Bible that get positive spin that are not, in fact, positive. I think about stuff like Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, which is, I believe, the portion of the Bible where this crowd gathers to hear Jesus give a sermon, and he does the loaves and fishes miracle, where he has like only like a couple fish and a couple loaves of bread, and he feeds like a crowd of thousands or something like that with it, by some incredible use of the principle of division. he cheats at math, and he manages to make it all work out. But that particular sermon has a bunch of just terrible advice. That's the sermon where, you know, Jesus talks about, like, having no thrift and don't take care of your family and don't plan for the future because it's all coming to an end. And, you know, thousands of years later, it's like humanity would have died out if we followed that advice. And so, like, the Sermon on the Mount tends to get, like, a lot of positive spin, you know. He says a lot of nice things in it, but there's a lot of stuff in there where you read it and you're like, what? Like, this sounds like horrendously stupid ideas, but...
Well, that's why I just want to keep people aware. So on the Game Show Network, GSN, keep an eye out for this because regardless of everything else, you certainly could probably learn a lot of interesting things about the Bible that they may in the show have that positive spin, but really when you read the context of it. So it'll be interesting to see if we can learn anything from it.
I think the fun stuff in the Bible is the positive stuff that Christians ignore, and like don't do, like when it says, you know, if what should I do to get into heaven? And Jesus is like, well, take all your worldly possessions and give them to the poor. And Christians don't do that. Not in America. It's just, or like,
certainly not Republican Christians.
Who should I invite to dinner? And it's like, don't bring your friends and your family. Bring the hungry.
Yeah.
You know, spend all your money to help the sick. Christians don't do that. I mean, they do some level of it, but Jesus has got this real, like, you know, Indian aesthetic kind of thing where he's like, you should give everything away because that wealth is not helping you, and you should use it to feed people. There's all this like really positive stuff that Christians are just like, well, when he said that, what he meant was be greedy. You know, and the Protestant work ethic is the way to go, and to take more for yourself, and then to cut, you know, social welfare programs like every Republican fundamentalist political candidate in our country like seems to want to do. And it's like, where are you getting this idea? Like, this seems to be exactly the opposite of what Jesus said.
Right.
So.
And what's interesting with that is, so in other things there, the Bible is absolute.
Right.
You know, there is no gray. It is black and white. But in this stuff, when it's helping others, it's totally gray.
Yeah.
So, well, that's open for interpretation. He just meant, you know, give as much as you're willing to give.
Right. No, I know. That's what it becomes. It doesn't become like, show the goodness of Christianity by giving everything away and really believing that God will just provide for you once you've done this, because that's what he really wants you to do. No, it becomes, give whatever you really don't feel like keeping, whatever you're comfortable with, and that's whatever.
The other thing that I think would be great is if they did this show, but had it hosted by somebody, by like Dan Savage or something. Get a devout, you know, get a hardcore atheist, and then go, how well do you know your Bible?
Yeah, exactly.
That's obviously not.
Obviously, it would be
when
more
it's
of
a family show. It's going to be rigged in the worst possible way, but
Probably.
It still should be entertaining, because I think you'll find that there's going to be things that they'll quote that'll be right near like the Sodom and Gomorrah stuff, without mentioning the fact that the whole town wanted to rape angels and all that kind of thing. You know, just focus on the idea that, you know, if God tells you not to turn around or be, you know, or something will happen, don't fucking turn around. You know, like that's what they'll focus on. That's it. They won't get into the nitty gritty, but I think it'd still be entertaining to see that.
I think it'll be.
I actually think this will be entertaining.
Actually,
I really do.
It presents the question of, you know, we've had the discussion of what is Tim Tebow going to do in a few years. That would be a great
host of this
He would
show.
be the best host ever. They would love it. It would be ratings gold.
I denounce and reject you. Outcast out.